Sean here, and what I'm going to share with you is nutrition secrets and how to get fast results from your nutrition without feeling drained, exhausted, or deprived of food. Now, this is where the magic happens and where you really make change. And realistically, it's because it comes down to how much we eat determines the scale weight, but the quality of those foods determines your body fat percentage. So, what we're going to cover: how to get started on your plan, what it should consist of, approaches and strategies for you to choose from. So what I like to say is nutrition for fat loss is very simple, and we should absolutely keep it that way because, as Bruce Lee said, simplicity is the key to brilliance. Looks like this. Quality will get you 80% of the way there. Getting sugar, starches, alcohol out of your diet will get you almost all the way there with a few other things intact. Okay. Quantity, which we're going to talk a lot about today, is going to get you the rest of the way there if you balance those fat, carbs, and protein there within. Timing does play a role, and I'll talk about this as well. So think of Whole30 or Paleo for quality, and then we'll go from there. So quality plus balance plus specific quantity will get you all the way there. Quality foods can and should include proteins such as chicken, fish, beef, eggs, and protein powders. Carbs such as legumes, brown rice, sweet potato, vegetables, fruit, nuts, and seeds. And legumes and brown rice are the one exception if you do choose Whole30. And then healthy fats such as olive, avocado, coconut base, nuts and seeds, and some animal fat. Okay. And if you look on the right, it gives you a pretty straightforward example of what a good carb versus a bad carb is. So 2 simple rules for quality. Protein every meal, ideally 4 to 6 ounces. So if you can imagine a fairly large man's hand, open, not closed palm, that's about 4 to 6 ounces, assuming it's like chicken breast, like a lean protein. And time your carbs before and after workouts. It's that simple. This is what your day could look like. This is what a workout day could look like if you want to get the best result. Start off your morning. Protein, fat, and vegetables. 9 a.m. have some protein with starches or carbs, however you want to look at it. Workout. After workout, refuel. The reason why we do protein, starches, or carbs before is for fuel. After is for refueling. It's like a gas tank. Going into the evening, taper off your fats the later it gets, but it's not the end of the world if you have fats a little bit later in the night. This comes down to blood sugar. On the left, you see what is a typical blood sugar of the average American, right? So they're spiking their blood sugar up and down throughout the day with sugars, starches that they don't need because they're not that active, and other junk foods, or they're going through periods where they're forgetting to eat. And that's almost sometimes worse than eating something, right? So you get the crashes, highs, and lows, and this keeps you out of a fat oxidation or fat burning mode. Ideally, what we want to see is more stability in your blood sugar, which is on the right, where the insulin is minimum in presence in the blood sugar because there's no need for it, right? That keeps us burning fat. So it's interesting. You look at how the different macros between fat, carbs, protein actually affect blood sugar. Fat has the least amount of spikage in our blood sugar levels. Protein has a moderate, and carbohydrates has a high amount. So to get to level 2, let's talk about quantity, right? In this process, we'll use well, not me, but Jane. I forgot to adjust that in this example. And we're going to look at the Harris-Bennett equation for women, which is what you see here, and I'll attach this in a resource, so you don't need to write this down right now. Jane is 5'5", 47 years old, and 190 pounds. So let's plug her numbers in. Her metabolic rate, if she were to lay in bed all day, do nothing but breathe, heartbeat, you name it, 1,566 calories per day. So how do we factor in activity? Because hopefully she's not going to lay in bed for 24 hours. Based on the Harris-Benedict formula, here's how we classify activity. We're going to say she works out. She lifts weights 3 days a week, does a pretty awesome cardio workout twice per week. So 3 to 5 times per week. Factor in moderate exercise. We're going to go with moderate in this calculation. So at the bottom, you can see it's her resting metabolic rate times 1.55 for moderate activity, bringing it up to 2,427 calories per day if Jane ate quality foods and wanted to maintain her weight. Sounds crazy, right? Trust me on this. So we need to create a deficit. Let's say the goal is 2,427 calories, just like Jane, and we subtract 500. So from her diet, she's going to have this as a constant of 1,927 calories. That's her daily goal. How do we balance those 1,927 calories? Start off with a hormonal reset. So eliminate sugars, starches, and a lot of carbohydrates, leaving veggies as your go-to sources. Here's the split I'm going to recommend for you. 25% carbohydrates, 35% protein, and 40% fat. So what this comes out to is, you can see the breakdown there. Oh, whoops, that last one should not be protein, that should be fat. 86 grams of fat. So is this exact? No, but it's a great start because it gives us something pretty darn accurate that's tested and proven to take us to our goal with confidence. Okay, we can always adjust. If you're consistent with this plan, and then after 4 weeks you're not seeing progress, that's when you change it. You don't change it when you don't lose a pound in 2 days, right? Some are more carb sensitive than others, and there should always be an inverse relationship between carb and fat. Okay, if you can tolerate carbs, you can definitely shift your balance with fats, but you want to keep protein intake constant. So what about IIFYM if it fits your macros, or flexible dieting as it's called? Can you just hit macros every day and leave your fate in the hands of MyFitnessPal? Will you still see progress? And what are the drawbacks? Well, we don't really know what we're always going to get. There are very few restaurants and on-the-go foods that are A, quality, and B, completely predictable as to what is inside of them and what they're cooked with. So the answer is no. This does work, but will you get the best result? Absolutely not. Once again, it goes to how fast you want to see progress with the thing that you're working on, right? So if you're focused on getting the fastest result possible and feeling your best, I would not recommend this. Okay, you can do this on the go in the case of emergencies, but realistically, have your plan in place. So strategy for success, this goes back to Whole30 principles. Pick 2 to 4 bulk dishes for every 3 to 5 days, and allow for 1 to 2 meals where you can be flexible and leverage MyFitnessPal's database. I won't even call these cheat meals. Okay, this can come from popular restaurants that you can be confident that will get you closer to the result, such as Outback, where you get steak and vegetables, right? That's very predictable, or even a sweet potato. Question is, can I be successful without being specific? You can see progress, but quality will only take you so far. So you have to ask yourself, what's your goal? How bad do you want it? Where are you coming from right now? Are you under-eating insanely? Are you overeating insanely? Do you have minimal protein and a ton of carbohydrates? Focusing on quality will get you forward, right? But will get you to your goal. Establish these base habits. Then find your flexibility after you reach your aesthetic goal. So after you look like what you see in the mirror, then work on everything else, right? That's when you can be more flexible. When you feel better, when you look better, then you can start taking more control and giving yourself a little more flexibility in how you manage your eating. Because realistically, it's never done, right? We're never done eating. We're never done living. We're never done being healthy. It's a process. It's a lifelong process for us to enjoy, and we can enjoy it if we choose to. So about cheat meals. Let's talk about cheat meals. Planned cheat meals can actually have hormonal benefits, even during a diet. Basically what happens is the hormones that suppress hunger slow down in production, and the hormones that stimulate hunger actually speed up in production as we lose body fat and as we reduce our calories. So your body basically starts to say to you hormonally, habitually, mentally, give me food. I am craving, right? So how do we offset this? Because if we stay on a diet long term, we literally are starving ourselves to a small degree. We actually plan out a cheat meal. So this does not mean go crazy. You can go a little crazy, but you will not get the best result. Once every 1 to 2 weeks, as you're seeing steady progress, then you add in a high carb, low fat day where you maybe add an extra 500 to 1,000 calories for one meal on top of what you're already planning for one meal, not the whole day, and then you have a massive amount of carbohydrates in that meal. And then what it does is it shifts the hormone production back in your favor. So you feel less hungry. Your appetite is more suppressed going forward, but you also stay on track. You may not see fat loss for that day, but it's going to set you up for 7 days, assuming that you do the work for those 7 days. Here's the only stipulation. The cheat meal does not work if you are already not following your plan to begin with during the week. The cheat meal only works when you are darn near spot on every single meal in, meal out leading up to that. Low in fat, high in protein. You actually get the best result too if you do it right after a really intense workout. So good tips and rules of thumb. More activity equals need for carbs or starches. Less activity equals less need. Master your hormones, and then you can focus on your habits in the process. Action steps: submit your initial questionnaire for macro and calorie goals. I sent you up. These don't apply. So yes, this is exactly how you start your approach. So pick your plan, which level you want to focus on: quality, quantity, balance, and use the resources on this page to set yourself up for success. That's it for our nutrition program. My name is Coach John Castro, and I'm here to help you in whatever way I can.